I'm Peter, Toyota's product knowledge expert.
I'm Glenn Gall. I've been four-wheel driving Australia my entire life. And I'm here to find out exactly what goes into the making of Unbreakable. Pete, we've just towed over 6,000 kilometres with over 3 tonne behind the HiLux. And the HiLux has had the reputation of its toughness and durability, but the competition seems to be catching up. What makes HiLux so unique?
Everything about HiLux is made as tough as it can possibly be made. And that's what sets HiLux apart from the rest, but it's also what makes everybody else want to be HiLux. HiLux is really still ahead of the pack and the four-wheel drive ute that everybody else aspires to be. There's so much work goes into making it the way it is. Like, I'm often asked, where do you do your testing? Well, our test track is the world. But this HiLux, a great deal of the testing was done right here in Australia because not only do we have some of the harshest driving conditions on planet Earth, as you well know and you've tried to prove to us, we've got some of the toughest drivers that can dish out some really, really savage treatment to these vehicles, and they struggle to break them.
So Pete, what's been done to improve the off-road capabilities of the HiLux?
Most of that stuff you're never ever going to see. It's all underneath. The chassis is the most impressive HiLux chassis we've ever seen. It's been strengthened. It's made with a double box section that interconnects to make it even stiffer and more rigid than before. The springs have had their travel increased. Now, I'm sure you understand the need for maximum amount of wheel articulation, especially when you're off-road. And that's what the engineers have tried to build into HiLux's chassis. Wheel articulation, suspension travel, and the ability to do it with a load on board.
So how's the chassis been improved?
The chassis is very rigid, and the flex that's been built in to allow a bit of body movement and maintain comfort is in the huge mounts that attach the body to the chassis to absorb all of that vibration so you're comfortable inside, but underneath the chassis stays stiff and the suspension does all of the hard work to keep the wheels firmly planted on the ground where you need them to be in order to drive the thing forward through even the harshest terrain.
So if I'm driving through a freshwater crossing, how's the HiLux going to perform?
One of the first things I got to do when I drove HiLux off-road was a trip down the Werribee River. Better than the boat. It just cruised across the rocks, had no problems with water ingress, and in one side, out the other side, almost as if we were running down the highway. And HiLux's safe wading depth of 700 mil makes it the perfect thing for shallow water crossings.